Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, happy Saturday. Time for a brand new episode of Degenerate Danger Zone, sponsored by Outlet Liquor. It's the place to buy a case. Slick Al, Steve joining me today. Guys, I got to start though real quick. I'm sorry. I'm ice cold right now as a gambler. I'll admit it. I've scaled back my units. It's been a rough. I mean, last weekend was rough. Even this week, I've been slowly, like I said, trying to be careful. And my play of the night, as Steve knows, we were texting each other back and forth, was Knights in regulation. I've never seen anything like that, Steve.
I haven't seen FLEURY just completely screw up like that in a long time. That game was won. I was hoping that I was going to get the spread in that too. I'm like, here comes the empty netter. They're about to pull price soon. And then you just see FLEURY he just didn't. It was an easy puck to handle too. Puck sits right in front of the net. Montreal scores, and next thing you know, we go to overtime, and we all know how overtime went. It was, I mean, Al, that was heartbreaking for you.
So, like, I told you to text me updates. Because I'm at a party, no TV around. We get that goal early third period. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're dominating shots wise. It was like 30-8 going into the second period, and just to look at my phone with under 2 minutes left and see that update was just such a dagger. And just to go down in the series now, like they went down 2-0 to the Avs, they won 4 straight. This is a different team, obviously. Montreal, the Avalanche, completely different. And you have a goalie like Price, who's just he's carrying them through. He's carrying them through. Am I a little nervous? Yes, but hey, it's still one more game in Montreal to flip it back to home ice, back to Vegas. And I looked at the odds today. Vegas is still minus 155 to win the series.
Yeah.
So
because Vegas has proven they can win on the road too, and if anyone who watched that game, Vegas dominated. They dominated the game, and that just happens when you play the Canadiens. Sometimes you just run into Carey Price where nothing gets past him. And the worst part is they did get past him twice. And they were 2 great goals. I'm just a bad break.
It's just so unfortunate. Slick Al, how's your weekend going?
It's not going bad, but that game was wild last night. I'm enjoying these playoffs all around the board. It's been awesome so far. I'm looking forward to this game 7 tonight. Bucks and Nets. That's going to be huge. Obviously, it's a slick Saturday. That's why I got the shades on, because it's also a little bit sunny too, but the weather app said it was going to be a little slick too.
Oh, yeah.
So lots of picks all over the board. I'm excited. Steve, how you feeling about that game 7?
Oh, I'm very excited. I mean, real quick, touch on the Clippers Jazz. I can't believe the Clippers won 2 games without Kawhi. Yeah. Paul George, he played playoff P. Yeah, he played like playoff P. I was doubting him the whole way. They came back. But tonight, I mean, it might be my lock of the night. Like, it might be my lock of the week. I'm hammering the Nets -1. I'm hammering the Nets money line. It's just, I look at this game, the Nets are 3-0 at home. They're scoring 118 a game at home as opposed to 89 on the road. Milwaukee doesn't play well on the road. James Harden was terrible his first game back. Last game, even though the Nets lost pretty bad, Harden played a little better. 5 of 9 shooting, 16 points. He's always going to get rebounds and assists. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this. In the playoffs, game 7, who do you want as your main guy on your team, Giannis or KD? If you say Giannis, you're out of your mind.
Kevin Durant, baby. You know who I am. Yeah, damn right. I even feel comfortable with the Creeks now got the spread at 2. I even feel comfortable taking the Nets -2, money line -130. Not even bad. I really don't see them losing this game. Kevin Durant, best basketball player in the world. Al, what are you looking at tonight?
You know what, guys? I do lean Nets. I'm on the Nets, but it just scares me a little bit that no one's touching the Bucks. I haven't talked to a single person today in all the group chats, sports gambling wise, that has told me Bucks. That's the only thing that scares me a little bit. But yes, I do like the Nets tonight at home in game 7. Over under 216. You guys got to lean with that one?
I hate totals in the NBA. I hate totals in the playoffs just because, you can't really get a gauge. I'll live bet a total if I'm watching the game, but you really can't get a gauge for how the game is going to be played until probably midway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
And Al's asking that question. This is the same series where the one game ended 86 to 84 or something. So I don't know if I'd be willing to bet a totals in this series again, to be honest. I would lean over, but after that game, I don't know, man. That was crazy. Especially with two elite scorers on the Nets. That's not a bad point, actually. Bet under game 7.
That's a good point by Jake, though, because what I was going to say is I would lean the under just because in Game 7, if it's a tight game, going down late, every possession matters. They're going to drain the shot clock. They're going to look for the best look. So I hate taking totals, but if I had to choose a side, I'd lean the under.
Same here. Definitely in the under there. But let's get into a huge Game 4 on the island. Obviously a lot of people in Trainwreck eyes are going to be on this game. You got Lightning in New York, taking on the Islanders. This is, once again, it's kind of like the game tomorrow night for Vegas. This is do or die for the Islanders. You cannot go back to Tampa down 3-1, Steve.
No, I think it's over if they go down to 3-1 and go back to Tampa. It's very hard for me to see the Islanders lose back-to-back games at home, but I'll tell you what, Tampa, they look good. Yeah, they're playing with extra money. We've been over this. We get it. I don't love it, but it is what it is at this point. Tampa's a really damn good hockey team, and I don't know if I want to pick against them. Even though I hate picking against the Islanders at home, I really don't want to pick against this Lightning team. They look like they're firing on all cylinders, and I think they've dominated the Islanders for the most part of this series.
Yeah, it does. Honestly, it scares me, Steve. As a Vegas Knights future guy right now.
Yeah.
They definitely look like the best team in the NHL. A week ago, I probably wouldn't have said that. But with the start of the series with Montreal, the way it's gone, and Tampa, the way they played the past 2 games, dominating performances. I still, though, tonight, I want to give Dewey and Rob one last chance.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm with you.
I mean, you can even see, though, Steve, look what Vegas thinks of this line. It's very short.
It is.
Yeah, you have Lightning minus 125. That's it.
It's kind of
I know. It's basically a pick 'em at this point, and that's the thing. I would love to see this series tied up at 2. I really would. Yeah. I'm just terrified of picking against Tampa because I've been watching Tampa these whole playoffs, and it feels like they're just improving game after game.
So yeah, we're gonna see what happens tonight, but that's at 8:00 tonight. I mean, sports right now, it's in sports overload with the Euros, U.S. Open. But real quick, before we get there, we got Sugar Jay's gonna be joining us talking some boxing tonight. I know we got some UFC picks. There's U.S. Open. But let's talk, Steve. I know you mentioned you got some baseball locks tonight. Let's talk about that. What are you liking today?
So, first one, I'm going Blue Jays spread. I'm taking the Buffalo Blue Jays spread against the Orioles. Blue Jays had 4 hits last night against the Orioles. That's not going to happen again. They're 1 through 4 batters. Vlad, Bichette, Semien, Grichuk. They went 0 for 12 with 6 strikeouts. It's not happening again, and they're facing Dean Kramer on the mound. He's 0-6 with a 6.65 ERA, a 1.5 whip. The man's terrible. Blue Jays got their top pitching prospect, Alek Manoah, on the mound. He's looked good and really good in 3 of his 4 starts. I'm just going to trust that the Blue Jays kind of bounce back. They lost 7-1 to the Orioles last night. I don't see it happening again. I'm not laying the juice on the money line. I think it's minus 200. Just give me the spread minus 1.5 at minus 115. And then I got one more, and this is a trend as well as I kind of like the pitching matchup. It's the Angels-Tigers over. People always, discredit the Tigers as one of the worst teams in the MLB, but I'll tell you what, they're hitting the ball lately. Over is 8-2 in their last 10, and it's 9-1 in the Angels' last 10. And you got a guy named Willie Peralta on the mound for the Tigers. He hasn't started an MLB game since 2017. Terrible career, 5 ERA. He's going against Patrick Sandoval, who's got a 3.5 ERA, but he's got a 4.8 FIP. Much worse. It's only 9.5, and you're getting it at even money. Both these teams have been crushing the ball lately. I think I'm just going to keep riding the trend in the over in that game as well.
Awesome. Slick out. You got anything in the MLB tonight?
Honestly, no, man.
No,
haven't even checked out the slate.
Yeah, I got so much going on too. I have nothing in the MLB tonight. I've been trying to focus on the Euros a little bit too, but that's been a wacky league.
Euros have been pretty cool to watch.
The past 2 heavy favorites. England can't even score against Scotland, 0-0 draw. And then somehow France, They were like, I think they got up to like minus 380 at some books. Drew 1-1 to Hungary.
Yeah.
And just, unbelievable. So, and then, Steve, tell the people, U.S. Open, lots going on here. It's going to be a crazy weekend for you.
It's going to be a fun one. Matthew Wolff, beginning of the week, my biggest thing. I've always liked Matthew Wolff. He hasn't played in months, but he was getting offered at 150 to 1 odds. I'm never going to pass up that type of talent at 150. So I took him. I took him top 10, around 15 to 1 as well. He's tied for third at 4 under. It's going to be a huge sweat. I'm looking forward to it. The guys ahead of him, Bland, Henley, they're both at -5. Those guys, they're not winning on Sunday, Al. We're not going to see a final Sunday pairing with Henley and Bland. You also got Louis Oosthuizen, who I think is the most underrated golfer in probably all of golf right now. He always seems to be there in the majors. He's also at 4 under. And then you got big names just lurking. You got Bryce in there. You got Brooks at even. You got Xander is at -2. Justin Thomas is there. It's going to be a fun Saturday and Sunday.
That's what I'm talking about. Today's moving day. And look at Paul Casey's even having a hell of a day. He's had 6 birdies today. He's -1. Where do you think the winner's going to end up at this, Steve? Because, I mean, right now you have the 2 guys at -5. It's only going to get tougher as the weekend goes with the pin placements. I mean, I think the winner gets to 7, 8 maybe? I mean, I don't think,
I was going to say right around 6, 7, because the top guys are guys I don't expect to be there. So I expect them to fall back a couple strokes. And then you'll see, the top guys kind of jump in. Bryson or Brooks, they could always go 4 or 5 under today. I would say it's probably going to hover right around -6, -7. I would be shocked if I saw anyone get above that.
And I think we forgot to mention, Steve, Rahm and Watson 3 under.
John Rahm, the favorite. I mean, you can never count him out on the weekend, and he looks like he's in perfect form, as good as he did before he had to, get disqualified for COVID. Doesn't look like that's slowing him down at all. Rahm, I wouldn't be surprised if he won this.
No, not. I was going to say he's the favorite going today, plus 350. It's going to be. And how much do you guys love primetime golf too? I mean, you got people teeing off at 4:35 on a Saturday.
Unreal.
It is the best, and the best way. For Sunday to end Father's Day, you're telling me I get to watch the end of U.S. Open from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's the perfect end to the weekend.
It really is. I'm very excited. But guys, I think it's time. Let's add Sugar J. Big boxing night.
Guys, what's going on? We got a full stack today. We got 4 different cards of boxing, so I'm gonna just run through them real quick. We got a pay-per-view card in Jalisco, Mexico. We got Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Sr. on this card. These are locks from you guys. Julio Cesar Chavez, one of the all-time great Mexican fighters. If you read my article from a few weeks ago, I listed him as the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. He is to Mexico what Kobe Bryant is to Los Angeles. Everybody there loves him. He's one of the most beloved sports figures. Finding 3 Mexican judges that are going to pick against Julio Cesar Chavez is like finding 3 Bills fans that agreed the Music City Miracle was indeed a backwards lateral. There's no – I cannot see – I would be absolutely shocked if Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a decision in Mexico. He is taking on Anderson Silva, but I don't think that Anderson Silva at his age has a stand-up game to really hold it down with a boxer like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Again, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., he's going to be fighting Hector Macho Camacho, who is another retired guy. They've been retired a long time, but they're from that golden age of the Mexican-Puerto Rico rivalry. I'm Team Puerto Rico, but I got to say we're taking the L on this one because it's in Mexico. They're just not going to pick against Mexican legends like that. So I'm not seeing a lot of odds on it, but if you can get it, that's free money right there. There's also a DAZN card in El Paso, and not a whole lot going on there, but there is a championship fight. Ibeth Zamora is defending her WBC flyweight title, and if you go on Bovada, you can actually get that fight for even money, which I think is a steal. It's at the Creek for -115, so I think it's good parlay fodder, but you can even take it straight up if you want. In Houston, there's a Showtime card. That's headlined by Jamal Charlo. He's one of the best middleweights in the world. He's taking on Juan Macias Montiel, who's a solid fighter, but Charlo's the heavy favorite. He's -3,300 to win outright. You can get him -500 for the KO on Bovada, or at the Creek, it's the same odds. But I think that's solid parlay fodder. I would go ahead bet the KO on that. If you really want to play it safe, bet him to win outright. But I feel pretty good about -500 that he's got knockout power. I think he finishes this one. Also on that card, Isaac Cruz Gonzalez taking on Francisco Vargas. Vargas is a guy who's past his prime, but he is a really tough fighter, and he's the underdog. He's plus 385. I actually like him to pull off the upset here. I don't know that I'm confident enough to put it in a parlay when you're betting NBA, MLB, NHL playoffs plus golf. But if you want a nice little standalone bet there, put a little bit on Vargas to come through at plus 385. And then finally, my favorite card of the night is on ESPN and ESPN Plus, which means you can catch it at Amherst Ale House, my favorite place to go, catch all the action. Wish I could be there. I'm out here in Southern California. I need those wings. I need that pizza, but I can't get it. But what you can do is you can see Naoya Inoue. A lot of different ways I've heard people pronounce his name. Inoue, Inoue. All you need to know is he is a Japanese phenom, probably the greatest boxer Japan's ever produced. He's a bantamweight, so really small. Not a lot of people have heard of him, but he's a top 5, arguably top 3 pound-for-pound talent in the sport. He's defending his IBF and WBA titles. He's minus 1,800 to win outright on Bovada, minus 2,500 at the Creek. You can get him minus 700 for the knockout on Bovada or minus 715 at the Creek. I'd go ahead and take the knockout. I feel pretty confident about that one. Also on that card, you got Michaela Mayer. I consider her a top 10 pound-for-pound woman. She's defending her junior lightweight title. She's minus 4,000, minus 5,000 at the Creek. But what I like here is if you go on Bovada, you can actually get her minus 350 for a decision, and that includes a technical decision. So let's say, round 5, 6 rolls around, and her opponent, Erica Farias, is just getting beat up. She's in her corner. The corner says, look, we're not going to continue. That's technically considered a technical decision, and that's actually for these intensive purposes counted the same as a 10-round decision. So I think that's a huge, huge thing. Now, in women's boxing, the championship fights are 10 rounds instead of 12, 2-minute rounds instead of 3, so there's a lot less knockouts. But that is a huge, huge aspect there that, let's say she's just pounding her opponent 3 rounds in. Canelo did this against Yildirim 4 months ago. 3 rounds in, the guy just didn't come out for the 4th. Technically, that would be considered the same as a full round decision here. So that's only on Bovada. I would take her for decision. You can get it minus 335 at the Creek. Again, like I said, there's just not as many knockouts in women's boxing because of the structure. Another fight I really like on this card is Adam Lopez and Isaac Dogbe. So Dogbe's a former champion. He was at one point kind of like the top up-and-coming talent in boxing. Then he got beat by Navarrete. Navarrete took his titles. Dogbe lost the rematch. Hasn't really had like a huge fight since then. And he's taking on Adam Lopez, who I think he's one of my favorite fighters to watch because he's not really the best at anything, but he's a really crafty fighter, brilliant survivalist, knows how to fight a lot of different styles, and I think he finds a way to get the win here. You can get him on Bovada at minus 135. Unfortunately, the Creek's not giving it. But my Creek card right now, my parlay would be you take Zamora straight up minus 115, take Meyer for the decision at minus 335, take Charlo by knockout at minus 500, and then take Inoue at minus 715 for the knockout. But yeah, four cards of boxing. It's going to be a great night for fight fans. And that's all I got, guys. I'm going to let everybody else get back to it. Good night now.
I felt bad. I wanted to talk to him, but we could hear ourselves in the background.
Yeah, I know. I started laughing and I could hear it. I was like, oh, I got to mute my mic.
And I'm glad you did that because I texted him real quick. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. We can't talk to you. So, but no, Jordan's fantastic with the boxing picks. And it's so crazy in boxing how like lines are like minus 5,000. I looked at that. I was at the Creek this morning and I'm like, that's not even parlay fodder. It's gonna change a parlay from minus 150 to minus 148.
It's beyond parlay fodder.
Yeah,
so we really got to look for those specific round and method of wins in boxing, and Jordan's always on top of that, as we know.
Yep.
Like you said, great night for fight fans. Not only 4 cards of boxing. Man, I didn't even know that was going on. And Anderson Silva's boxing tonight? What? I didn't even know that was happening. I'll have to tune into that for sure. Also got UFC Vegas 29. It's going to be a great night for fight fans.
Yeah, and hey, folks, look out. Obviously, it's a slick Saturday. Video will be dropping soon. When do these fights go off? Around 4:30, right?
Prelims at 4, yeah, I believe. And
okay.
So we're looking maybe like a 9:30 main event.
Yeah,
I believe.
Dan
50K E-Gay versus the Korean Zombie.
Who do you got in that one?
Another
Or
way
no, should we save it for the video? We'll save it.
Yeah,
Save it for the video. But I will. How about I give an exclusive pick out that I'm not giving out in the video?
Okay.
All right.
Chaos Williams. You may have heard of him. It's crazy. No, I may have him included in something. I'll just say that much. But Chaos by KO or TKO at plus 125. Guys, this guy's a bona fide beast. Like, 2 of his past 3 fights, he scored first-round knockouts. Barely, I don't even think they were a minute into the fight each time.
Oh, wow.
This guy's crazy. I literally watched him put a man into the shadow realm in his second last fight. His last matchup, he lost a decision to Michel Pieta, even though he landed more total significant strikes. It was just a bad matchup for him. Trust me, this guy, he captions his Instagram photos. It's not personal, just punishment. This guy is absolutely scary as hell, and I think he gets another viral knockout tonight. So Chaos by KO or TKO at plus 125. I love that.
Okay. When I was at the creek today and I saw that name, I'm like, Slick L's definitely mentioned this guy before.
All over it.
And my lock of the day at 4:45 p.m. around there, Rick Glenn, just because of his name. and Glenn is spelled with 2 N's. That's how you spell my middle name. Rick Glenn at plus 105 over Joaquin Silva.
Love it. Love it.
Rick Glenn. So
Al's Rick Glenn. You know what? I'm on it too then. Let's go, Rick.
I love it. Awesome, guys.
Yep.
But yeah, I cannot wait. U.S. Open, going to be on late night tonight. Thanks, Steve, for all the locks today. Everyone that joins us, you guys know what it is. This show is sponsored by Outlet Liquor. Hopefully, we'll be back tomorrow after a big Saturday. I'm just trying not to be cold anymore, and I'm telling Slick Al. I rarely say that. I rarely say that. Maybe in the main event I'll fade. We'll see.
Yeah. Nah. Nah, you shouldn't be doing that. Trust me.
All right. Awesome, guys. Good night.
Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the